Now, Nigeria and other West African nations, such as Benin, Togo, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, may be recipients of so-called dirty fuels, going by a recent report by a Swiss watchdog. Now, the fuels are high in sulfur and are known to cause respiratory diseases as well as damage vehicle engines. Now, the report accuses European oil traders of exporting this high pollutant fuel to Africa, where it's sold to unsuspecting customers. CCTV's Deji Badmus reports.
Almost every minute, cars and trucks drive into fuel stations in Nigeria to fill up. The last thing any driver or motorist wants to worry about is the quality of that fuel. But the report that toxic fuels may be finding their way into the Nigerian market is beginning to cause concern.
When I read it, I wasn't so happy because, unfortunately for us, we don't have a strong and effective regulatory body who should be doing its work. That's one thing that is saddening my heart. Assuming that we have a strong regulatory body who could do the monitoring in a way that can detect and even penalize sanction, it would have been fantastic.
If there is any iota of truth that banned or adulterated refined petroleum products or distillates are finding their way into Nigeria by any chance, it is a clear case of national negligence.
Nigeria's Department of Petroleum Resources, the DPR, has dismissed the report as erroneous and misleading. It released a statement saying all petroleum products are analyzed at registered third-party laboratories and tested for quality parameters such as density, octane rating, sulfur and water content. It's adamant Nigeria's product specifications meet international standards. Nigeria consumes around 4 million liters of refined fuel every day, around 70% of it imported.
As long as Nigeria remains an importing nation when it comes to distillates or refined petroleum products, then there is every likelihood that this carcinogenic refined product, this poisonous and this polluted refined product will eventually get into Nigeria.
For now, the DPR is standing its ground that the country is not a destination for the so-called dirty fuel. It insists that various tests are conducted at various stages of petroleum products distribution and supply chain and witnessed by its staff. It's asked Nigerians to disregard the report, assuring everyone that there's no dirty fuel in this country. But of course, not everyone is swayed by that. Deji Badmus, CCTV, Lagos, Nigeria.
Let's get some more insight into this. Ifeanyi Ukoha, an economic consultant, now joins us in Abuja. You're very welcome to the show, sir. Now, of course, as we heard there, Nigeria's Department of Petroleum Resources says basically the report that toxic fuels may be finding their way into Nigeria's market is misleading. What are your views on this report?
Well, I think that the DPR probably does not have the capacity to properly check this, because we have seen over time that the abuses in terms of regulated levels of fuel have happened in the past. So I don't have any confidence that this time they're telling the truth.
Well, Mr. Ifeanyi, last week, Nigeria and, of course, 4 other West African countries met in Abuja to discuss this very issue. And they agreed to ban the importation of Europe's dirty fuels, which means, of course, that this is happening by introducing strict standards. What are your thoughts on the effectiveness of this ban, and certainly whether this is really happening in Nigeria and other West African states?
Well, if I was to suggest to the government, I would say they should be talking to the European countries and companies that bring in this bad fuel, because they are the ones at the consuming end. And if the loopholes, there are loopholes in our controls, then we can only have confidence if we have strong agreements with the countries and companies where these things are coming from. Also, they should ban people that have already been shown or proven to have brought in toxic fuels to Nigeria. That's the first step.
Now, many believe that the weak regulatory standards as well in West African countries like Nigeria have allowed the sale of dirty fuel to, of course, slip through the cracks. What changes are you hoping to see from Nigeria's government in particular in terms of policy going forward?
In terms of policy, I think the NNPC should be unbundled, which is something the present Minister of State in Petroleum has suggested. I believe that government should focus on regulation and leave the business of other businesses to private hands. Just regulate. They should fix the regulation. That's the big problem we have with policy in Nigeria.
Well, many thanks for those insights. Of course, Mr. Ifeanyi Ikoha, he's joining us in Abuja. He's an economic consultant.